My wife and her book club decided to ignore me for 30 days to teach me a lesson. But on day one,
I never imagined that 5 years of marriage could unravel in a matter of days, and certainly not the way it did. Emma and I were never perfect, but I thought we were steady, comfortable, building a life together. That illusion shattered one ordinary Thursday afternoon when I came home earlier than expected. I walked through the door with grocery bags in hand and was met by the sight of Emma and her book club sitting in the living room, sipping wine and pretending to discuss a book none of them had bothered to read. The moment I greeted them, the air shifted. 5 pairs of eyes flicked toward me at the exact same time, held for 3 silent seconds, then snapped away with eerie synchronization. Not one of them responded. Not even Emma acknowledged I was standing there. I tried again, calling her name softly, but she brushed past me as if I were a coat rack blocking her path. I stood there in stunned confusion, unsure whether I'd done something wrong or stepped into some bizarre social experiment. When the women finally left, each hugged Emma goodbye while walking right past me like I wasn't even present. Emma simply went upstairs without a word, climbed into bed, and turned her back to me as though I were a stranger. That night, I barely slept as I replayed every unsettling detail. It wasn't just rude. It was deliberate, coordinated. I remembered Emma mentioning her book club had been reading a psychology book about power dynamics, and suddenly it all made sense in the worst way. What I didn't know yet was that they had actually voted 4-1 to ignore me completely for 30 days as some twisted lesson, to make me appreciate her more. Instead, it became the catalyst that made me realize how much of myself I had already sacrificed. The next morning I made coffee like I always did. Emma came down, grabbed a different mug, and poured her own as if my small daily gesture meant nothing. She breezed around me silently, making breakfast only for herself. That was when something inside me clicked. If she wanted to pretend I didn't exist, then I could embrace that invisibility in a way she never expected. That evening, instead of cooking dinner for us both like I'd done throughout our marriage, I ordered takeout just for myself. She heated up old leftovers, sneaking glances at the perfectly plated meal I didn't offer to share. The expression on her face was the first crack in her carefully constructed game. Saturday, I ignored our usual chores entirely. I slept in late, made myself a luxurious breakfast, and spent the morning cleaning and unpacking my old photography equipment. Photography had once been my passion, my dream career before Emma complained it took too much time and money. I had given it up slowly, selling lenses, skipping shoots, burying my camera under clutter she never used. But touching that camera again felt like breathing after years underwater. When she saw me setting up my gear in the dining room, she froze mid-step, her expression betraying shock before she forced it back into indifference. She slammed the door behind her when she left the house, but I caught her muttering angrily on the phone outside. Her frustration only fueled me further. Sunday, I left before sunrise with my camera bag, hiked through the mountains, and shot the most breathtaking morning I'd seen in years. When I returned, Emma looked simultaneously relieved and furious, two emotions she couldn't express out loud without breaking her precious silent treatment pact. The tension grew thicker each day, especially as I reclaimed parts of myself she'd slowly chipped away. My hobbies, my friendships, my space. By midweek, I discovered messages from multiple galleries that Emma had secretly filtered into spam months earlier opportunities she had buried because she didn't want my photography to take over my life again. Finding those messages snapped the last thread of guilt I had left. I no longer felt bad for cooking meals just for myself or redecorating the house with my prints or demanding financial fairness in our shared expenses. Instead, I felt angry at how much of myself I had allowed to wither under the shadow of her expectations. When I printed out a spreadsheet of our financial imbalance and left it on the counter, Emma stared at it like it was a personal attack. She whispered to a friend on the phone that I needed to learn my place, unaware I could hear every painful word. That was the moment I started researching divorce attorneys. Every day that passed made me realize how suffocating our marriage had become. Emma hovered around me constantly, desperate for reactions she had forbidden herself from receiving. When I made plans to attend a gallery meet, the panic in her eyes almost broke her silence. She stalked my social media, watched my photography flourish, and simmered with jealousy over comments from supportive strangers and old friends alike. By the second week, she began cracking. She lingered in doorways, hovered near my workspace, paced the house anxiously. But she refused to break the 30-day vow, even as her friends questioned her sanity. She didn't understand the damage was already irreversible.